School Board of Education meeting for April 11th to order. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Costick. Mr. Claus. Mr. Murphy.
Here.
Dr. Rankin. Here. Mr. Shaw.
Here.
Mrs. Ross. President Wilson.
Here.
We have 7 present.
Thank you. Would you please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Awesome. Thank you. Moving on to announcements. We will start with Mr. Mike Murphy and go in order.
Thank you, President Wilson. Kindergarten Roundup. If you have a kindergarten student beginning school in August, bring your family to the Peoria Zoo for a free day of fun on April 30th. Peoria Public Schools will host its annual Kindergarten Roundup from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, April 30th at the Peoria Zoo. We'll have information on everything you need to get your student ready for kindergarten in August. You'll get to meet your school principal and even ride a school bus for the first time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Mr. Claus?
Summer School 2022 Summer School programming for PPS will run from June 13th to July 1st. Students in summer school will attend for a 6-hour day from either 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. or 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday, with a field trip scheduled for every Friday. Students will attend summer school at the building they currently attend in the 21-22 school year. Transportation will only be provided for those that are currently eligible for transportation and live within their school's boundary area. To sign up for the summer school, please go to the district homepage or consult your principal's weekly updates to complete the form. You will receive further information regarding your sign-up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Shaw.
Thank you. Congratulations to Rich Woods High School and Peoria High School, which were both recognized for excellence for 2021 FAFSA completion by the State Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Carmen Ayala, and the Illinois Student Assistance Commission. Kudos to Rich Woods Principal, Mrs. Emkin, and Peoria High School Principal, Dr. Coleman, and their teams for making FAFSA completion a priority and going above and beyond, guiding students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. And before I begin my announcement, I want to say a special shout out to the Boy Scouts of St. Paul Baptist Church, Troop 219. They are watching tonight, so just to throw that out there. Peoria Public Schools and the Wraparound Center will host an activity fair from 11 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. Saturday, April 16th for all Peoria Public School parents and families. There is clear evidence that participation in extracurricular activities increases academic performance and decreases involvement in risky behaviors. PPS parents are invited to attend and learn more about the social activities available to their children. If you have any questions, please call the Wraparound Center at 309-282-1919.
The Mayor's Youth Program. Applications are now available for the 2022 Mayor's Youth Program this summer. Peoria Public School high school students are encouraged to apply to the Great Collaborative Program with the Mayor Rita Ali and the City of Peoria Public Works Department, which will provide valuable work experience and a paycheck to students during the summer months. The deadline to apply is Monday, May 9th. Applicants must be at least 16 years of age and a junior or senior in high school. Applications will be available for pickup at your high school counselor's office or the district administration building. Please return your application to your high school counselor or to the administration office.
Thank you.
SAT exams this Wednesday. Peoria Public High Schools will be sites for the SAT and PSAT exams this Wednesday, April 13th. Junior students will take the SAT while freshmen and sophomore students will take the PSAT 9 and PSAT 10 respectively. Students must arrive by 7:30 a.m. and school will dismiss at 1 p.m. that day. Make sure you get a good night's sleep ahead of the SAT exam, which is a graduation requirement for all students in the state of Illinois.
Thank you.
Peace Plays in Peoria concert. Peace Plays in Peoria is a musical and fine arts event to develop connections and relationships with Peoria area music students to promote healing and hope for those impacted by violence in our community. Selected students representing Peoria Public Schools will be gathering to share music based around a theme of peace and healing at the Peoria County Courthouse starting at 11:30 a.m. on Wednesday, April 20th. The program starts with the Peace Plays Orchestra at 11:30 a.m., followed by concert band at noon and the choir at 12:30 p.m. The event will also feature speakers and hopefully beautiful weather. All are invited to attend, watch, and enjoy.
Thank you.
Schools and district offices closed. Excuse me. District schools and offices will be closed on Friday, April the 15th, and Monday, April the 18th. Schools and offices will resume normal business hours on April the 18th. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll also like to acknowledge the bulletin boards. To the left of me, Glen Oak, and over here we have Lincoln K8. They both did a phenomenal job of decorating the boardroom. Next, we have Student Showcase, Young Authors from Lindsay Bohm. Did I say that name right? Bohm?
School will resume on April 19th. So I think she said 18th.
Okay.
Good evening, President Wilson, Vice President Ross, Dr. Karat, and our members of the board. I am Lindsay Bohm, Curriculum Coordinator overseeing all things literacy across the district, and I have the privilege tonight of presenting to you the district-level winners of our 2022 Young Authors Contest. The statewide Young Authors Conference is an event sponsored by the Illinois Language and Literacy Council in conjunction with the Illinois Reading Council, designed as a celebration to honor exceptional writing by students in grades kindergarten through 8. The conference provides an opportunity for these young writers to meet published authors and to hear how the authors themselves create the characters and stories that have become their books. Unfortunately, COVID concerns did result in the committee's decision to cancel the statewide event this year, but we moved forward with a local contest for our students at Peoria Public Schools. Each building was invited to submit its top entries in each grade level band to the district competition. Manuscripts were read and evaluated by our district team, and 2 to 3 overall winners per grade level were selected. Many of those winners, most actually, are here with us tonight to introduce themselves and to be recognized for this accomplishment. So I first have our kindergarten through 2nd grade winners and their families here, and I'm going to actually pass the students the mic and allow them to tell you their name, their school, the name of their teacher, and the name of the story that they submitted. Okay? And then you're going to go over here, and Mr. Burke's going to give you a medal. I'm going to start with our kindergarten student, and I'm going to let him introduce himself.
My name is AJ, and my teacher's name is Miss Schwagel, and my book is called Brody's Magical Adventure.
And what school do you attend?
C.T. Vivian.
Thank you so much, AJ. Get your medal. Our other kindergarten student is Zariah Marks, who could not be here this evening, but I do have her incredible principal here to receive this award for her, and she will pass it along at school tomorrow. Thank you. Those are our kindergarten winners. 1st grade, our 1st grade winners here. Come on up. You want to start us out? All right, tell us your name and your school, your teacher, and your story.
My name is Atarf Bharadwaj. My school is C.T. Vivian. My stories is Festivals of India.
And who's your teacher?
My teacher is Miss Jenkins.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Can you receive your medal for us? All right, and our other 1st grade winner, come on up, Katie. Okay, Katie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your name, your school, your teacher, and your story?
My name is Katie Alexis Kohler.
And where do you go to school?
Northmore Primary School.
And your teacher's name?
My teacher's name is Miss Sack.
and the name of your story.
The name of my story is Lucy Loves Books.
Congratulations, Katie. Go ahead and get your medal. All right, and the last in this band, our second grade winners, if you could come forward. Oh, okay. We'll have our kindergarten and first grade winners and their families go ahead and exit. We have so many winners and only so much space.
We'll have you exit out through this way. And one second to the parents. Before you leave, I just want to give a big round of applause to you. Thank you for continuing to promote that literacy. Yep. Principals as well. Thank you.
All right, filtering in now. Let's have our second grade winners come on up to the podium and introduce yourselves, okay? Caleb, you want to start us out? Come on up. Tell us your name, your school, your teacher's name, and your story name.
Hi, my name is Caleb Joshua Lewis Gibson. I go to Lincoln K-8, and my teacher's name is Miss Mathewson, and the name of my story is called The Little Fly.
Thank you, Caleb. Get your medal. And I don't believe our other second grade winner could be here with us tonight, Mr. Wyatt Golden from Northmore. We'll get him his awards tomorrow. Third grade. Do I have third grade winners in? Come on up. Okay, tell us your name, your school, your teacher, and your story name.
My name is Bryn Regan. My school is Keller Primary School. My teacher's name is Mrs. Derry, and my manuscript title is Stranded.
Thank you so much. Congratulations, Bryn. All right, and I have Mrs. Rodriguez back up again to accept some awards. Is this for Sophia and for Caitlin? No, Caitlin. Caitlin is here. This is okay. So Sophia Lynn, Charter Oak, Renee Gregory, Emily, and the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you. All right, fourth grade winners, come on up. Or if we have third grade, fourth grade, come on up. Hi. Go ahead, same thing. Tell us your name, your school, your teacher, and the name of your story, okay?
My name is Caitlin Winger. I go to Charter Oak. My teacher is Mr. Marjanovic, and my manuscript is called Glow Tales.
Thank you so much. Go ahead and receive your medal. Congratulations. And we have a co-authored story next. Come on up, girls. You can both tell us your names and the same information, okay?
My name is Abby. And my name is Delilah.
And where do you go to school?
We go to Northmore.
And who's your teacher?
Our teacher is Mrs. Gray.
And the name of your story together?
The Magical Pets.
Congratulations, ladies. All right. Do we have our fifth grade winners in, or we need to first filter out our third and fourth grade? Okay. Congratulations, third and fourth grade. Teachers, principals,
thank you.
and parents. All right, come on in. Fifth grade. Could our fifth grade winners go ahead and come on up to the podium? All right, you want to start us out? Do you remember what I told you to say? Awesome. Okay.
My name is Ethan Best. I go to Mark Bills. My teacher is Miss Venegas, and my book was The Danger Zone.
Congratulations, sir. Grab your medal. All right, other fifth grade winners? Who else do we have from fifth grade? Come on up, Amina. I have to first correct and apologize to Amina. When we submitted the board report and I had them listed by grade level, it was correct. And then when we did it by school, I accidentally copied and pasted a name that was not Amina's. And this is Amina, and she's our fifth grade winner from Mark Bills also.
Hi, my name is Amina, and my book is The Quest for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Mushroom of Mondstadt, and my teacher is Miss Venegas.
Amazing. Go ahead and grab your medal, hon. And my fifth grade winner.
What was the name of Amina's book? We didn't hear it.
Amina, did you want to say the name of your book again? It's a mouthful, isn't it?
The Quest The Quest for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Mushroom of Mondstadt.
The Quest for the Yugo Mushroom of Mondstadt.
Oh, wow. Nice.
A lengthy one. All right, should have one more fifth grade winner. Come on up. All right, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, my name is Jacob Kresick. I go to Markville School. My teacher is Miss Venegas, and the book I wrote is Hydroquarlium.
Hydroquarlium, is that how you say that?
Yeah.
I struggled, so I'm glad that you corrected that, okay? Congratulations. Congratulations to our fifth grade winners. Do I have sixth grade winners in here now? Okay, come on up if you're sixth grade. Come on up, come to the podium. All right, you want to start us out? Tell us your name, your school, your teacher, and the name of your story.
Hi, my name is Ella Hanley. I go to Washington Gifted Middle School. My teacher is Mr. Merritt, and the name of my story is You, the Dog, and Me.
Congratulations. Go ahead and grab your medal. Other sixth grade winners, come on up.
I'm Talia. I go to Lindbergh, and my teacher is Jill Blank, and the name of my story is Forever Friends.
Congratulations, Talia. You want to grab your medal? I should have one more sixth grade winner. Come on up.
My name is Alea Thomas. I go to Lindbergh Middle School. My teacher is Miss Blank, and the story I wrote is The Year That Changed My Life.
The year that changed my life. Yes, congratulations. Grab your medal. Congratulations to all of our fifth and sixth grade winners and your families and your teachers and amazing principals.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You all can kind of up and then, yep, exit.
Thank you so much.
And finally now, we have our seventh and eighth grade winners.
Yeah.
Come on in, seventh and eighth grade winners. If I have seventh graders, go ahead, come on up. You can start us out for seventh grade, okay?
My name is Elena Ramquist. I go to Washington. My teacher is Mrs. Zakovic, and I wrote Ben Did Fairy Tales.
Ben did fairy tales. Congratulations. Grab your medal. Sixth grade? Do we have another sixth grader? Let's go ahead and do them in order, and then we'll go up to seventh grade. Sixth grade is here. Seventh grade? Okay.
My name is Adriana Mendez, and I go to Lincoln K-8. And my teacher is Ms. Blackhurst, and I wrote Winter.
And Adriana was our only poetry entry, and so she won for that. And we've actually given her some information about another poetry contest that I'm hoping that she wants to enter as well. Congratulations. Grab your medal. In seventh grade.
My name is Felicity Boots. I'm a seventh grader. I go to Washington Gifted School. My teacher is Mrs. Zakovic, and I wrote Absolutely Home.
Congratulations, Felicity. Grab your medal. And last but certainly not least, I have two eighth grade winners. Come on up, eighth graders. Paper, rock, scissors, who goes first? Who steps up? Okay, come on up.
My name is Jackson Saylor. I go to Washington Gifted. My teacher is Miss Connard, and I wrote The Day Adventure.
Congratulations. And?
My name is Solomon Leach. I'm an eighth grader. My teacher, I go to Rolling Acres. My teacher is Mrs. Carden, and I wrote This Hellish House.
Okay, congratulations, Solomon. Go ahead and get your medal. All of our winners here tonight who are interested will have the opportunity to work with Barb Pierce, who will share their talents through our social media outlets. Congratulations to these students, to all of our students who submitted entries, and to their teachers and families for the support provided. We are hopeful that we have even more entries from Peoria Public School next year, and that the state follows through with the competition so that we can send our winners to the next level. Thank you all.
Ms. B, I was also wondering if Ms. Pierce can also work with PJ Star and see if they can publish those for us
Absolutely.
throughout the months.
Yes.
Sometimes I know they're very receptive to doing that. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Great
Thank
job.
you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you again, parents of the students. Appreciate that. Next, we continue our student showcase. Middle school boys basketball. AJ Guyton. What's up, sir? How you doing?
Another name? All right. An email? Thank you for having us again. We're here to celebrate our boys basketball champions. Greetings, Dr. Karat, President Wilson, and all the members of the board. This one is special because this will probably be the last time we address them as Roosevelt Rough Riders. But they have pretty much dominated the basketball scene in Peoria Public Schools for the last few years. But before we get started, I would like to thank people who had a hand in our successful boys basketball season. Of course, my man to the right, Assistant AD Blake Johnson. He provided on-site support, and helped building PPS sports from the ground up. Our referee assigner, Dale Jackson, who's the assistant principal at Manual. He held a referee clinic, which enabled us to get a different variety of referees, provide a nice diverse pool, including women, for our basketball season. Woodruff Building Principal Arnold Spiker and his awesome custodial staff for hosting our jamboree and our city championships. Also, before I get to Roosevelt, I'd like to honor a couple of people that aren't here today that we probably forgot to invite. For some of you know, we've been giving away some Player of the Year and Coach of the Year awards. So I'd like to recognize the American League Junior Varsity Coach of the Year, Jeff Venegas from Washington, our American League Junior Varsity Player of the Year, Liam Ratliff from Washington, and our American League Varsity Coach of the Year, Tyler Patton from Calvin Coolidge, and our American League Varsity Player of the Year, Amari Smith Holly from Calvin Coolidge. We give them a round of applause. They're not here, but we'll make sure they get their medals as well. Now on to the Roosevelt Rough Riders Junior Varsity Boys Basketball Team. They had a record of 15-0, 10-0, National League champions as well. They have a coach, Orlando Edwards. Stand up, Orlando. Is Orlando here? Orlando Edwards. Coach Orlando Edwards. Coaching since 2017-18. They've won, since he's been coaching, they won 4 city championships. They have an overall record of 73-3. They haven't lost a game since 2018. So give it up to Coach Edwards for his excellent record in leading the charge here. We're going to put some Rogers. Come on up, Lord. Assistant Principal Deanna Tucker. This team beat Rutgers 40-26 in the semis. They beat Washington 44-27 in the championship game. We give it up for 2021-22 roster, Jacob Duffin. National League Player of the Year, Jr. Harmon. Ivory. DeMar Jones. Marvin Jordan Jr. Rashad Kennedy. Kamar Tracy. Brandon Maxison. Tristan Shelton. Sims Rickman, Josiah Williams, Demarion Richardson, and Jane Allison McDonald. All right, here we go again. Your 2022 undefeated city champion, Rough Riders.
Orlando, would you like to say a few words? I know. You sure? Okay.
Say a few words.
To my team. All right. I would just like to thank you guys for giving me this opportunity. Coaching is a passion of mine, as you can see regarding my boys. They come out, they play hard for me. I try to teach them life skills in the process, so it's way more than basketball. I use basketball as a platform to teach young men or whatever. So I think that's about it. But I would like to thank them for coming out and playing hard, and hopefully I prepare them for the next level or whatever it is they're preparing to do.
Absolutely.
Good job, boy.
Now for our Roosevelt Rough Riders varsity basketball team, Principal just gets another medal. Miss Deanne Tucker White, head coach and coach of the year, Percy Tyler. Percy 62. He has 5 second place finishes and first place finishes. He did a great job for the Roosevelt. Give it up for Percy. They to the championship. Varsity record 16 in the division. They defeated records 56-29 in the semifinals. Defeated Calvin Coolidge 59-43 in the championship game. Their varsity roster consists of Rico Booker, Quinzel Foy, Jaquarius Green, Joshua Humbles, National League Player of the Year, Darian Mays, Malachi Sims, Matthew Tapp, Tosh Tapper, Andres Walker, Xavier Williams, Brian Green, Darian Moore, and Keon Wyatt. Here's your 21-22 National League Division champions and boys champions. Here we go. Give it up for Roosevelt. Coach, you like to say a few words?
Yeah, Percy, would you mind saying a few words?
To the board, when me and Orlando started, we started together, and it was a partnership that to not only coach at Roosevelt, but also help the community, which we do. And I would like to thank everybody on the board and anybody that's helping and all the players that help outside of school ball, because we continue to play basketball with these kids and travel and get these kids opportunity for college. Putting them in the word I want to use is in a state of mind outside of what they see in the streets, and keep that going for these kids. The platforms that we are putting these kids in is all college recruitment. Sometime in the future, maybe me and Orlando would get together and conversate and not only have a separate program, let's do it one big program to also expand and help these kids. As the time going, we are still on that same narrow of keeping what we do a positive thing, not only just for schools. Maybe we can get more schools involved as well and help more kids in the community. Basketball is a passion of mine as well as Orlando's. We are really good partners. You know, we really work together and help outside of just with basketball as well. You know, we take care of a lot of other people's players and spending our own hard-earned money to get these kids transported to places like Indianapolis, Chicago, Kansas, Louisville, things like that. I'd like to thank everybody involved that's helping us out, and I really appreciate coaching at Roosevelt. Thank you.
Great job, guys. Thank you, Ms. Rogers. And we know the challenge you guys face. You guys do a great job of keeping sports going down at Roosevelt. So thank you. Before we go, we just want to remind you we got boys and girls soccer going on. We got Mother Nature hasn't really cooperated up to this minute, but we still trying to. We got our kids ready to play. Coaches are out there working with them, making sure that they're prepared, ready to play as soon as Mother Nature breaks. We also have our 1st through 4th grade soccer on every Friday up until, I can't remember the last Friday, but it's on the website. If you have a 1st through 4th grader and want to be introduced to soccer by quality certified coaches, we'll be doing that at Miles Sanders every Friday at 5:30 p.m. 5 to 6:30. 5 to 6:30 at Miles Sanders. So we're keeping it going, keeping it rolling. Thank you guys, and appreciate you. Any questions, President Wilson?
No, just continue what you're doing. I've had the pleasure of coaching with Orlando now for, 6, 7, 8 years. Amazing individual. The work that Percy does is amazing. And to see these young men and young girls excel in sports, and it's really a great thing to see. So just please keep it up to the coaches, AJ, Blake. Just keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. I think they're gonna, yeah. Thank you. We are now at the point of presentation by audience. Presentations by audience are limited to 5 minutes, and we ask that you keep them constructive. This evening, and in accordance with Board Policy 2:230, the board will be limiting public comment. Specifically, no more than 5 minutes will be allotted to each speaker and no more than 20 minutes to each subject under discussion. Therefore, no more than 20 minutes will be allotted per discussion. Our first speaker today will be Terry C. Knapp. Mr. Terry C. Knapp.
Thank you. I would like to mention some of the things going on in the district. Last year, Mr. Guyton and Superintendent had the opportunity to come out and watch the little guys play out here in the back, and she brought some cookies and treats for the kids, and I'm sure they'll always remember that coming from their superintendent. And the area out here and back looks 100% improved. I looked specifically tonight at that. I'd like to also recognize Mr. Murphy. He's done tremendous things with the grounds, not only him, but people past. Keller's always been the school I drive by every day, and Keller was kind of run over with weeds a little bit on their baseball diamond. I mentioned to Mr. Murphy, and he immediately got on that. The grounds at Keller look extraordinary since he's been a board member, and I know he's been very active with that. I would like to make mention, because AJ has been working with the Little League guys that worked last summer and got it started, and the Park District has worked with Mike Olson and others on that committee and have appointed a person finally to Little League. Going back to the days when I was a Little League director, I remember that with fondness. But they're going to have Little League this year for players in District 150 at no cost to anybody who wishes to participate. If you're from outside the city, I think the cost is $55, but the Park District is doing whatever they can to help Mr. Olson, and they have hired a full-time person, which will help the district tremendously, and I think they should be recognized for that. I had the chance to grow up with a young man by the name of Don Poindexter. He's going into the Hall of Fame for the Sunday Morning League, and Jim Tomey is giving a banquet. If any of you wish to come, it's $50, and it's at the Paradise, and they expect 300 to 400 people. But Don will be one of the people inducted. Don Poindexter would be about 79 or 80 years old. I had the chance to play when I was in 8th grade at a tournament in Canton when he was a senior, or junior, I should say, and then the next year, the unpleasurable experience of facing him as a freshman on the baseball team at Woodruff, and he was pitching as a senior. The next year, I had the experience as a sophomore to play against Don Poindexter, who was then a senior, and had the pleasure of beating Manual with our team and beating them and winning the league championship as a sophomore. I will always remember Don Poindexter. In his memory, Mr. Smith, Al Smith's brother, is flying in from Las Vegas to present his plaque. And, it just, what you do for these kids, what you'll never understand the influence of A.J. Guyton on a student. A.J. Guyton is a fantastic representative across the country. Jim Tomey is going to be speaking at that dinner. Jim Tomey is working now as a player rep for professional baseball. He is an unbelievable asset to this community. We are so lucky. He came down and hit with my team when I was the coach of the '95 Woodruff team that won the conference. He came down several times, and I dropped the cage and hit with our kids. The influence these young men have, Mr. Johnson was just here with AJ. He's one of your employees here in the district. I watched him play through the Heights. These young men are the two young coaches. Unbelievable what they do to help these kids, and you're so wise to have done what you've done in the hiring. I've talked to Dr. Crott. It's in the people you hire. I think it's very important to still recognize you need to bring our 4 administrators back into the district and see they come to our functions in our community and not the functions of kids outside this community. I go to outside the community to a lot of events. I see our top 3 or 4 administrators. We need to get their buns back in this district and get them involved with our kids in our district. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Annette. Our next speaker will be Miss Hetty Elliott.
Hetty Elliott Gardner, teacher, taxpayer, and parent. I have a few items that I wanted to talk about and been kind of thinking about for several months or years. One is accelerated reader program. I could probably count on one finger the time that kids have come to me asking for the school district to bring back a particular program or I guess it would be a program. And I can't tell you how many kids have said, why don't we have accelerated reader anymore? Why don't we have AR anymore? They loved it. And I think one of our missions as educators and as a school district is to instill the love of reading in children. And I think AR it had the right hook, and whatever we have replaced it with doesn't have that same, the students don't have the same enthusiasm towards reading. And so I would hope that as professionals, we go back and look at why we got rid of AR, and let's listen to the people, and the people are the students, and they're saying that they want it back. So I would hope that you would consider possibly bringing AR back. Something that I've talked about in the past and that I continue to be a little disappointed in is the fact that we don't have reading and language arts classes. And I've talked a number of times to, Dr. Karat listens to me, air my grievances when I have something to say, and I think we're doing kids a great disservice by not providing writing classes, not reading language arts, which turn out to be about 95% reading and 5% writing. If we want students to grow up to be the best that they can be, they need to know written communication. They need to know how to write an email. They need to know how to write a paper. They need to know how to communicate in a professional setting, no matter what they become. It's very important, and I think we do a poor job at teaching writing throughout the district. The other thing I want to talk about is the bags and bags of COVID money that I know lots of school districts have gotten. What are we doing with that money? And if you don't have an idea, I have a couple items that I think you should think about, and one is truancy officers. We allow kids to miss as many days as they so choose, and nothing happens to the student. Nothing. I believe there's 2 truancy officers for Peoria County. I could be wrong. But what are we doing? I mean, we're putting out a poor product if we think that these kids are going to magically go to work every day when they're of age to be employed. And I just think it's almost criminal that we don't hold these kids and the families accountable and get in there and to see what the real reason is that they're not coming to school. And I think we all need to be concerned at what kind of product we're putting out. The last thing I would like to talk about is, in speaking of the extra money that we have at this time, I wouldn't say we, I think the school district, the board and the administration are putting their employees at risk who are coaches. You're asking coaches to throw kids in back of their car, use their own gas money on insurance that these kids wouldn't be covered, and these poor coaches are, God forbid something would happen, they would lose everything. Their families would lose everything. And if we have extra money, why aren't we buying vans to put at each school or vans to put at each region to transport kids? And I don't even know anymore. It's like the employees are expected to take the kids to and from games, to and from activities. And if the coaches don't, they have to forfeit. So the coach turns out to be the real loser here. And I think that's not the way to treat employees. And I think you guys really need to think about that and make sure your employees are safe and protected. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hetty Elliott Gardner. Our next speaker this evening will be Miss Kathy McNeil.
Hi, my name's Kathy McNeil. I'm a Peoria native. I'm not a parent, but I'm here to support the school board because of what we all know are some conflicts throughout the country right now. So I wanted to emphasize a few things that I believe all of us consider to be important. It's important we validate the concerns of every student, especially because this can mean that the child is actually fearful of something. I feel that there are reasons to be afraid, even as adults these days, and sometimes our fears can be transcended from us, the adults, to the children. So I'd just like everyone to keep that in mind. And it's always important to validate the feelings before you try to explain or help them with what it is. And secondly, my hope is that the staff and teachers of District 150 can admit that some of these fears are based on information that is not clearly understood. That would be called misinformation. And that some of the information that we get is blatantly false. what's going on behind me here that's making noise? I don't appreciate that. So this blatant disregard for the truth it's important to continue to make it clear when you have that opportunity. So I'm hoping that the remedies to any mis or disinformation gets done the way you have been doing, which is to maintain your use of science throughout your curriculum, as has been the case as far back as I can remember, the 70s, when I went to Central High School, graduated 74. Yay, Lions. Okay, so and another concern is that the school board remain versatile in its curriculum, especially on the subject of history, and even maybe to improve without hesitation history lessons on the subject of our diverse population. There's very good reasons to inform the good along with the bad, although, as we know, some of that is a very sad history. There's many pieces that are sad history about our own country that we love so much. And lastly, I just want to say that it is my hope that every student and all citizens in the District 150 remember how important it is to be informed, stay informed on what's happening in your community, who your representatives are, and care about that enough to know who your candidates are in the elections, and of course to vote. And I think someone else is going to bring this up, but I'll mention, yes, we have some town halls this month, every Tuesday at 6 o'clock, various places throughout Peoria. You're welcome to come and what I would say is encourage the people who can vote, especially the young people, especially people who care about our democracy, get out there and push to keep that democracy and work all of us work together, because we can do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Miss Angela Mendez. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, what's your name? Are you here to speak tonight too? Do you want to just knock it, just come up to the podium now? Okay, yep. It's cool. I mean, we just knock them both. You know, she's just passing on her. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, just for point of clarification, are you giving up your time, Angela? Okay. Go ahead, Miss Jessica.
All right. To all and the singular, this is a notice to the Board of Education of the City of Peoria, the district, and is addressed to all in the singular. The notice satisfies our duty to extend to you your rights to due process. At minimum, you are required notice and opportunity to defend. You are hereby being noticed of our intent to file claims for damages sustained and for injuries suffered. The district has a duty to respond as a district, and its then officers or board members are constituents of and to the people of the great state of Illinois. You have 72 hours upon receipt of this notice to correct these violations at all the schools in the district and to make reparations to my son/daughter. My list of demands are several. 1, stop co-steering all forms of COVID-19 propaganda. 2, end all vaccine clinics on school grounds. 3, cease co-steering and pushing CRT, transgender, LGBTQ month, demanding children to declare if they are transgender to participate in school activities and classes. 4, halt all enforcement of policies that require universal masking/masking without parental consent. 5, remove all obscene and pornographic books and materials from the public school system immediately. 6, remove all boys from the girls' locker rooms and bathrooms. 7, remove all girls from boys' bathrooms, including tampon machines. 8, remove all toxic cleaning products from school premises. 9, restoring all scholarships. 10, restore all attendance and remove all delinquent attendance. We, the parents, have a right to vote on the educational material that is being taught in our schools. Additionally, we have a right to pursue, examine, and approve or disapprove of all materials that the school board would like to introduce into the schools. Your function is to teach the subjects involving the theories of mathematics, grammar, history, science. Your function is not that of the parent to the student. You are elected to serve the public and represent parents once for their children's education. You do not have carte blanche. It got printed. Yeah, its printer messed up. You are behooved to comply because if you fail to comply with the aforementioned demands within 72 hours after receiving this notice, will result in claims for liable and damages being filed against those that continue to traverse or trespass on the rights of the parents and children. So, y'all talk about this schooling. You talk about all the stuff that you're giving to these sports. $265 million in 2 years, you would think they would be able to have more than one uniform. My daughter plays softball. She had to give up a fitting pair of uniform because they didn't have one to give her. But $265 million you guys received should have gotten some new ones. Should it not have? Where's your money? Where's it going? Where's all this money going? People are having to scrounge. You got them. Nothing. These children have nothing. You up here praising that they got all this stuff, but we're having to share uniforms. So you guys are hereby now put on notice. 72 hours. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. James. Our next speaker this evening will be Mrs. Michelle Aaron.
Sorry.
Make sure everybody knows that these are left on the podium for you. You do not get them, it does not matter either way, but you have been served and you have been put on notice. You can get them whenever you're.
On March 14th, I addressed the school board regarding the 3 suspensions given to my son for not wearing a mask, an unlawful mandate which was stated as a power overreach by Judge Grishkow. I received a letter dated March 15th stating it was the board's decision to uphold the suspensions. I too am giving you notice, and the things that really bother me is the coercion, the propaganda, and the fact that I'm getting true attendance letters for my son not being in school when he wasn't allowed to go to school. It's wrong. You guys are fighting the wrong battles. We've got coaches having to use their own cars to take kids, and you guys are pushing material that doesn't need to be there. You are taking rights away from parents and saying, if you don't like it, then just keep the kids at home. Then what are we paying taxes for the schools? You have 72 hours, and the list of demands are in here.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Aaron. Coming up next, we have Mr. Steve B.
Okay, Mr. Wilson, Ms. Karat, and the board. A couple weeks ago, you said, and I quote at the board meeting, "I'm not sure if this was very productive or added any value to today's board's meetings." That's not your decisions to make. You're public servants. You don't tell us what we can say and what we cannot say. As long as nobody makes threats to you, that's none of your business. Sullivan versus New York Times, 1965. The people were speaking about at the time about the founding fathers and the renaming of the schools because of alleged injustices you passed judgment about on. Then your imperfections were stated. Then you went on and said that you found God. I didn't have to look for God. I never lost him. Actions speak louder than our words. And you referenced the Bible. You used Matthew 6:15 that if you don't forgive others of their sins, he will not forgive you of yours. You seem to have forgotten that part because I watched a couple of videos of you on CBSN, I believe, or something like that. And it says, and you said, and I quote, "I was the first board member who suggested changing the names of the schools, something you always wanted to do since being elected to the school board. Those are your own biases and prejudice to invoke your wokeness agenda. As you told me on the phone, your agenda has nothing to do with education. This is not a playground for any of you. This ain't for you to come and take your prejudice, biases, or aggressions out. Especially when you, Ms. Karat, in 2019, I sat down with you to talk to you about history, the truth about history, and you would refuse to call me back and have anything to do with it. So you're included in this. So Frederick Douglass was taught by a man that the Constitution was a pro-slavery document. And that man was wrong because Mr. Douglass went and read the document himself. Said it was a glorious document after he read it. He said, the Constitution is not a pro-slavery document, and in 1852 he declared the proper interpretation of the Constitution should always be construed toward freedom, natural rights, despite the ambiguity of a particular situation. Romans 2/1/3, therefore you have no excuse, O man, every one of you who judges, for in passing judgment on one another you condemn yourself, because you, the judge, practice the very same things. Another quote from Patrick Henry, I have one lamp which guides my feet, and that's the lamp of experience. I know of no way of judging the future, but of the past. Good old Albert Einstein, if you do the same thing over and over again expecting a different outcome, that's the definition of insanity. Our founding fathers told us back then, they were teaching us that history repeats. If we want a better tomorrow, we have to learn the mistakes of that history. Changing history don't work.
Thank you, sir.
A lie does not become truth. Wrong does not become right, and evil does not become good just because it's accepted by the majority.
Our final
Booker
speaker
T.
tonight will be
Washington.
Miss Angie Lusk. Yep. Is she? No, that was Angela.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm here for my daughter, Amaeli Velasquez. My daughter has been harassed, bullied by the AP Renee Andrews, Richwoods principal Carly Emkin, Spanish teacher Haley Conger, painting teacher Jennifer Booker Smith. Target my daughter's back, encouraged by you. Sharon, the superintendent, wanted my daughter suspended, knowing that my daughter has an exemption, doctor's note, due to the whole fact that she cannot wear a mask because of her medical conditions. She has esotropia, diagnosed with 4 other diagnoses recently by a specialist. And you didn't care. You actually had Renee Andrews and Mr. Boone laugh at me as my daughter is being suspended. Do you know how that feels to sit there and watch your daughter can't keep food down because she can't wear this mask? She went to a mesh mask to comply and make it easier for you guys as well as for herself because she goes home throwing up, can't keep food down at all because she suffers from the chronic headaches, migraines because of her left eye that only works 40% of the time. As I sit there and watch her struggle behind on homework and assignments, and you put her even further behind. You think this is okay and acceptable? And Scott, Wilson, Gregory, I know your son has what? What is he? On the spectrum? How would you feel if adults were actually bullying your child? And adults bullying my child, not students, not making fun of her left eye, turning, crossing in, but by adults. You know how disgusting that is? I'm literally shaking right now because I have to deal with this. That's called abuse. If I did this, they would be at my door for abuse. And you condoned this. You allowed this. And she has not been bullied by other children, but by you adults. So then she got the note. And is this in bond right here? That also said and okayed the mesh mask. But she also wanted approval by you guys as well. And yet failed. Just to comply to make sure that she can go back into public school from homeschooling of 4 years because of her medical condition. So do you bully? I don't know if you guys are racist toward whites, Spanish, or whatever the case may be, or is it just ones with medical issues? This is what I have to deal with on a daily basis. For her just to live a normal life, and you wanted her suspended, where Mr. Boone literally talked to you personally, and you wanted my daughter out. This is how you run District 150? This is what you guys do? Praise the ones that actually physically are capable of doing things and bully the ones with medical condition and health issues that they didn't ask and sign up for, not born with, but end up having it, where she wants to live a normal life. How would you feel if she ended up committing suicide because of the mess that you guys pulled? How would you feel then? Yeah. And Scott Wilson, really? Really? With this whole, your ex and this and that and whatever else? This is literally a clown circus show that you guys are running here in District 150. You guys don't have to deal with what I go through. And yes, I do have a son also on the spectrum as well. Trust me, I know. I deal with this as a mom, my own stress, my own health issues, and this is what you guys gave me and served me with. You guys should not be running District 150. It is time to clean house. We are done. I followed the steps. Mr. Boone says his hands are tied. His hands are tied. Everyone's hands are tied. While my hands are serving my daughter and making sure that she's able to eat and gain weight instead of losing weight because she can't keep food down. That you guys forced a mask, pushing no matter what, with the doctor's a note, with a specialist that I'm sitting here have to pay an arm and a leg for her to see vision therapy in order for her eyes to move and as a normal person's eyes, left and right, up and down. To deal with this is what I have to deal with. And she can lose her vision permanently. Then what? And you guys, and she's on the 504 as well for her medical issues. And you guys still can even help her in any way, make it easier for her. But no, go suspend her? No, it's not for suspending her for violence, drugs issues, or anything like that. It's actually by sitting here and being mad over a mask. Because, and also in your policy that you guys adopted last summer, it also does not state that you guys are different materials. It says mask to be worn. It doesn't say mask is not allowed or anything
Appreciate
else.
it. Thank you.
Yeah.
No remarks whatsoever for what you've done. You have been served.
So we are now at thank you, first off, to all of the speakers tonight. We now have response to audience presentation, Dr. Karat.
Thank you, President Wilson. No response. Thank you.
Thank you. We are now at item number 9, approval of minutes for March 28th. Is there a motion to approve? Thank you. Madam Secretary.
Mrs. Coste, Mr. Claus,
One-
Go ahead.
Madam Secretary.
Mr. Murphy,
Aye.
Dr. Ranking, Mr. Shaw,
Aye.
Mrs. Ross, President Wilson.
Aye.
7 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 1 under information items, superintendent update.
Thank you, President Wilson. Thank you, Board. Just a few updates. Wanted to again reemphasize that summer school is, I'll tell you, staff have been working very, very, very hard at the building level, starting with our teachers, all of our support staff, custodians, everyone, all of Peoria Public Schools employees are doing a fantastic job staying focused and doing some great work for our kids. And a couple of projects that we're working on right now. Summer school, just wanting to get the dates out there again, and we will continue to advertise. But for students in grades K through 8th, summer school will be from June 13th through July 1st. And we're asking parents to please sign up. And principals will send out reminders, and our PR department will also send out reminders. And high school, the summer school times are a little slightly different. They'll start June 6th and go through June 24th. So I definitely wanted to get the summer schools date out there. Also, another big project that I'm working on, State of Our Schools, which is scheduled for May 4th at 7:30. And it's usually about an hour to 90 minutes. Hopefully you have it on your calendar. If not, we'll make sure Cammie gets it so that you can get it on your calendar. And it will be held at 4 Points, Sheridan 4 Points, right across from Civic Center. And this is an opportunity to just give our community an update. We have some amazing stuff going on that we must be proud of. And a big focus for our directors, executive directors, and staff is really ending the year strong. We still have approximately 8 weeks left to go. And so we're focusing on, the executive directors are meeting with principals tomorrow, and they're going to be focused on academics, again, ending the year strong academically, and social emotional behaviors. We're seeing a lot of it. I mean, we have seen some tonight as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on, and we're trying our best to help the best that we can.
Okay.
Miss Elliott, I've just a few more things. We can talk about AR. I was a huge AR proponent. My kids loved it. And I think something happened with the company. I think they switched to Renaissance, but I'll follow up with you regarding accelerated reader program. So you're familiar with it, Ms. Ross. The kids would get on, yeah, thank you, let the public know. So it's, it was really a fun and competitive, kids would, and I had teachers with you, they pushed it, so they encouraged every kid to get an AR book. It's leveled, around their level, and they would finish their work. My kids would walk to the library, go get their AR book, and they would read it. My son participated in AR as well. It's an independent reading program that just encourages them, as Ms. Elliott said, encourages them to read independently. And when they were ready, they would go to the library and take an AR test. So they had to get 80%, and they got points, and there were lots of celebrations. I used to give out trophy for the top AR reader by each grade, like a boy, a girl. And so the district ran AR for many, 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 many years. Something happened, and I need to find out. We're looking at reading also, and our reading program, it's balanced, so it has that writing piece, but I agree. We're definitely, actually in executive session, we talked about doing more of around reading with the board, and we put in a plan together. And you're right as well. Writing is the highest form of comprehension, and so let's see. One other thing. Oh, an exciting thing is in the f- in yeah, pretty soon in June, actually June and July, grades 5 through 12 will be receiving new desks and new chairs. I Some of our furniture in classrooms are very, very, very old, 50 years old, very old, 60 years old. So we're excited about that change for students and staff. And a big focus on flexible seating at the primary level, and that will come in the fall. And yeah. And so Ms. Ross talked about the mayor's program, so I won't do that. But that's just my quick update. Some exciting things going on. Summer school, state of the schools, ending strong, flexible seating. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Karat. Item number 2, proposed expenditures over $2,500. Any questions for Mr. Willis? Seeing none. Item number 3, report of requests under the Freedom of Information Act and the status of such requests. Dr. Karat.
Thank you, President Wilson. Tonight, there's nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you. We are now ready for the consent agenda. Vice President Ross.
$61,035. Donations valued at $1,500 by Gregory Stiles for enhancement of golf students for Richwoods. Number 3, payment of bills. Number 4, payment for travel. Number 5, human resources report. Number 6, license agreement with the Jolt Foundation. Number 7, Harrison Community Learning Center 8th grade field trip. Number 8, field trip approval for Washington Gifted 8th grade class trip. Number 9, extend the fuel purchase contract with Hera Petroleum. Number 10, purchase of 5 used buses. Number 11, Peoria High Varsity Cheerleaders overnight trip. And number 12, National Model United Nations Club Conference. I don't know what that is.
I feel like you're missing something.
Yeah, President Wilson, those numbers didn't match what we had on our agenda.
Did you do donation? Oh, you just accidentally put number 2 for donations value. It should be number 1. So
Yeah.
it's fine.
Oh, I said number 2. I had already did number
2,
1.
But it's what happened was you got number 2 listed here and it goes with number 1.
Oh.
So 2 should be
Okay.
payment bills. She has 11 technically, but
I have 12 items.
But there should be 11.
11?
you
Okay.
put accidentally 2 donation
Okay.
value.
All right. Good.
So do we need to? Okay. Yeah, we are. It's just a mistake over here. Madam Vice President, would you please read the
Okay,
agenda?
the consent agenda consists of, number 1, gifts to the school district, year-to-date $61,516.35. Donations valued at $1,500 by Gregory Stiles for enhancement of golf students for Richwoods. Number 2, payment of bills. Number 3, payment for travel. Number 4, human resources report. Number 5, license agreement with the Jolt Foundation. Number 6, Harrison Community Learning Center, 8th grade field trip. Number 8, field trip approval, Washington Gifted.
Number 7.
Number 7, okay. 7, okay, I'm this is all wrong on here. So, number 7, field trip agreement, approval for Washington Gifted. Number 8, extend the fuel purchase contract with Hera Petroleum. Number 9, purchase of 5 used buses. Number 10, Peoria High Varsity Cheerleaders Overnight Trip, and number 11, National Model United Nations Club Conference.
Awesome.
I get
Thank
it
you,
right?
Vice President
I
Ross.
was just
Yes.
reading what I had in front of me.
Is there any items board members would like to pull for a separate vote? Ms. Cossett? All right, thank you. Any other items that board members would like to have pulled? Seeing none, can I have a motion and a second to adopt the consent agenda with the exception of item 5 and 9? Madam Secretary?
Mrs. Costick, Mr. Claus, Mr. Murphy.
Aye.
Dr. Ranking, Mr. Shaw,
Aye.
Mrs. Ross,
Aye.
President Wilson.
Aye.
7 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. May I have a motion and a second to discuss items 5 and 9?
Aye. Can do one.
Yeah, do them separately.
Oh, could I have a motion and a second to discuss item 5? Thank you, Ms. Costick.
On number 5, on the Joe Foundation, I just need further clarification. I am a little concerned because of that particular program and the distribution of Narcan and testing for HIV and so forth. I am concerned because of the fact that it is slated to go in the wraparound, and I just have to have that assurance that none of the individuals have any type of way of accessing the children, the staff, or anywhere. So is there separate interest? How is that going to be made secure so that there is no way that these people, that those individuals that are coming for those services can get into any part of the building?
Thank you very much, Mrs. Costick, for the question. I know I responded to the same one to a couple of other board members. So what I'll do is ask Dr. Booth, who is the champion of this initiative, to give some specific. Did you hear all of Mrs. Costick's questions clearly? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Dr. Booth.
Safety.
Thank you.
Yes,
Those
Dr.
items.
Booth.
So I have Kristen with Joe.
Oh, that's right. Welcome, Kristen.
Dr. Booth.
Speak to those concerns.
Yes, we're currently, we just moved to right across the street from the Peoria Health Department. We do not have any issues right now. We have not when we were on Adams Street, and we certainly do not want to bring that into a school environment. That's why we have changed what we want to do down at Wraparound Center, not the full services of Jolt's harm reduction, but with our PHN grant, which is our pandemic health grant, which helps with resources for people that were affected by COVID, and then Hep C and HIV testing, which we also provide care for and send people to care. We do know that there's a very high rate of these in our cities, and we want to protect the parents of these kids as well as the kids. We also know, I was at the resource fair down at Wraparound Center just about a month ago, and one of the women down there had spoke about how they had lost 4 parents of her students to drug overdoses. Yes, we wish we didn't have to address this issue, but it is our reality in Peoria, and we want people to be alive. That's it.
Yep.
So you have a way to we do want to maintain where there is a gap between the school. We do realize that it is a school, and we're not going to push anything on anyone. We just want those services available for those that want to have these services.
Yeah, it's a separate entrance, Ms. Costick, and the idea is a pilot, a 1-year pilot. It's also a separate entrance. Coach, you want to add to that? Dr. Booth, you want to add to that?
One more thing she's going to add about the HIV testing and how the materials will be kept safe.
Yes, with our HIV testing, everything of those sorts, everything will be kept away and kept locked up. All our supplies will be locked up and then removed from the building immediately.
And it's a swab, is it?
Yes. Yes, and we have swab, and then just for Hep C, a little finger prick.
Mhm.
But we have nursing on staff, and we completely professional medical office.
Cool.
I
Thank
invite
you.
all of
I
you
have
to
a
come to Jolt Harm Reduction sometime and see what we really do there.
hmm Vice President Ross.
Yeah, I was also going to ask a question when we got to this regarding the clientele. Uh, are, do they have to prove that they live in Peoria? I mean, is this just going to be anybody homeless or anyone else coming in?
Currently at Jolt Harm Reduction, our original office, no, they don't have to prove.
I mean, within the
We're
school.
looking at helping families within the District 150 school.
So they have
district
to
here.
prove that they have an address in.
I mean, personally, I would prefer that because I have a daughter that attends Franklin, a young daughter. I think these services are very much so needed here in Peoria, that we have to deal with the reality of what's going on. It's not going away, it's getting worse. And whereas the national average for drug overdoses has unfortunately increased. We are 54% down in Peoria here just because of having Narcan and naloxone available. I don't want any kids to lose their parents.
No, I understand that. My
Mhm.
question was, is this going to be open to anyone?
I-
Whether you have an address, whether you're homeless, whether you live in Peoria, whether you live in anywhere else, is it going to be open to anyone?
Well,
It probably will be.
I don't see why not. I mean, if you're homeless, granted, you don't have an address. We do work with the homeless population. Our city is filled with wonderful homeless friends and neighbors. I don't think that should be a deterrent whatsoever because some of the best people and most giving people I know are homeless. I do think that it should be an option that is open, just like the other resources that are open to people outside. But I also know that most resources at Wraparound Center, I believe 85%, roughly, 85% come from Peoria Public School Districts and the 61605.
Thank you. Dr. Reinke?
Yeah, just to clarify that just a little bit more, I think what our concern is as the school board who is essentially voting on letting in a new organization to one of our buildings is this specifically for District 150 families? So maybe Dr. Booth, you can answer this more. Is there a way that we can make sure that there is that proof of residency or proof of not residency because of the homeless population or the unhoused population, but more of like proof that you're associated to District 150 in some way during this pilot phase at least, so that as we're voting on it as a board, that can be something that we can at least be assured of?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like there's still maybe some things to work out from the discussion here, but is there something that can be assured that at least for this pilot phase, we can guarantee that the people who receive the services are some way connected to 150?
Dr. Rankin, just for point of clarification, and then Dr. Booth, you can take it. The wraparound center is actually opened to the entire community.
Right, but I'm saying just
by
for this
design.
specific
Oh,
thing.
just for this one.
Just for
Okay.
this, yep.
And it just so happens that overwhelmingly, over 80% of the clients are affiliated with us. So I just kind of wanted to clarify that.
Thank you. Dr. Booth?
Yeah, if that's a stipulation that you would like to make for a pilot phase, we definitely can do that. But everyone is correct. To this point, all of the services that are provided at the Wraparound Center have been open to the public as long as they reside in Peoria County. But for this specific program, if we want to make certain stipulations for a pilot phase to see how it goes, we definitely can make that happen. If you want to lay out what that is, if you want them to be of a certain zip code, family members of Peoria Public School students, they're willing to accommodate that. I will say that there is a larger portion of individuals that come through the Wraparound Center, especially the food pantry. And we have everyone sign in, and there's a lot of detailed information they complete. That information includes, do you have students in Peoria Public Schools? What is your address? What is your zip code? And just that, and there are times where individuals put homeless down on that list too. And for our current services, we of course still serve them. But for this one service, if that's an area that we don't feel comfortable serving during a pilot phase, we can make that stipulation.
So just to pick up on that discussion, I will support a stipulation if it's there. I think that Jolt is a great organization, and I think this is going to be a definite benefit to the wraparound center. But I also don't want kind of those things to hold up this vote also. So as a board member, if some stipulations need to be put in place, I would obviously be in favor of that. But I think that just the Jolt Center in general, Jolt Center, right? That's what you're called? Jolt something.
Jolt Foundation.
But Foundation in general is something great to add to. I'm glad that we're doing this partnership. I would just want to make sure that all of the board members are comfortable with the vote, and if not, I would be in favor of setting up any stipulations that the board needs.
Thank you, Dr. Ryan King. Ms. Kostick?
What I'd like to add, the thing is that I'm not overly concerned about the clientele obtaining the service. I'm concerned about the safety of the children in that facility. I guess like I don't.
Yeah.
I'd be really, really concerned that once an individual picked up Narcan and they're hanging around, I don't know what your hours are or anything, but I've got to have that good feeling knowing that our children are going to be safe. And that's first and foremost. I don't, I'm not concerned on whether they're homeless, because there are homeless, addicts. I'm not concerned whether it's a District 150 parent or what, because the drug problem is a community problem. And, I'm all for whatever we can do to help, but I have to know that all safety measures are going to be put in place prior to Jolt even being allowed in the school. It's got to be that way.
Yep. And if I could just and address, just to give you how the process works when an individual comes to the wraparound center. It's a secure door on the side of Treewind School, separated from the actual school building. Individuals, clients have to buzz in. They get buzzed in. They sit in the waiting area of the wraparound center, and anyone that moves beyond that waiting area has to be accompanied by one of the providers. So if someone is there for a Jolt appointment, the Jolt staff would have to escort them to the Jolt area. Same with OSF, same with Attorney Riley, same with Family Corps, and the other agencies providing services there. This MOU is for Tuesdays and Thursdays for Jolt to provide services at the wraparound center. Their items would be taken locked while they're there, taken with them when they leave. A very similar testing that takes place at the wraparound center. Chestnut provided also drug testing there, but they took those items with them. They had them in a locked, secure place. At the end of the day, the Chestnut staff, they had a UPS driver. They did not leave until the UPS driver took the secure items away from the premises. And I can see a very similar process putting in place for Jolt, that those items would not be left around, at the end of the professional day.
What are the hours?
It'll be 8 to 4 on Tuesdays and Thursdays for Jolt.
Dr. Reinke?
So I'm going to pick up from where Ms. Kostick left off. So at some resource event, I got one of those no spray Narcans that you give out, right? I think, I would hate for, as the board or the discipline committee, to see those be used by students in an inappropriate way because they're available. That might be an ignorant statement, but I just want to put that out there also.
I would like to point out that Narcan, if used on an individual that is not in opioid distress and having an overdose, is like giving water.
So it does nothing.
It does absolutely
so
nothing.
Even if kids get it,
it would do nothing.
They would do nothing.
It's nothing.
Okay.
It wouldn't work on someone if they were using a different type of substance other than an opioid. So it wouldn't.
It would do
wouldn't help
nothing.
in that. It would just do absolutely nothing
Okay.
for them. It's like water to anyone else. It's
Who's
just
not
antagonist.
overdosing.
Yes.
Okay.
And just to pick
And-
up from Ms. Costick's quickly, and Dr. Booth, when they buzz in, they, the latch releases, they come into the wraparound area, which is also a secure area, and the room that he's referring to, it's, they're shut in, and they're sitting in that area going through the intake, so it's all very secure as well.
Thank you, Dr. Crott. Any other questions for
Hold on,
Dr.
hold on
Booth
a
and
second.
Christine?
But if there are numerous individuals waiting to come in, are those individuals, are they just waiting outside, or does everyone come in at the same time, or what? How does that work?
Yeah, so they get buzzed in and they wait in the waiting area where the clerical staff, where my office is, a little further from that. There's about 5 or 6 chairs there. The clerical staff buzzes whatever agency. You have such and such, you have a client here, that individual from the agency or organization comes up and gets their client and walks them back to their private office area. It'll be the same for Jolt. If individuals are there for an appointment for Jolt, they will buzz in, they would have a seat, and they will come up and get them when the clerical staff lets them know they have a client available. Same thing on the way out. They will walk them back up to that area. The organization staff also make sure, one of the things they do when they come and get client, they make sure the client signed in correctly as well. So that's just one of the things we also have our providers doing as well to make sure we get their information.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
I wanted to make one comment. I'm getting the feeling that people are concerned about loitering, which I completely understand. We initially were on Adams Street. We did not have the issue of loitering down there. People come and would get their supplies, leave. We've now moved across the street from the Public Health Department, which has been incredible because we work in conjunction with them. People get their supplies, they might go across the street for resources, they leave. We don't have an issue with loitering because we don't allow it. So I just, that's where we're at. We don't allow that, and especially not in a school. As a parent, and everyone I work with almost is a parent, so we all are on the same page. I understand that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
Can I have it's already been motioned and seconded. Are we good with calling the roll? Madam Secretary, would you call the roll for item 5?
Mrs. Costick?
Aye.
Mr. Claus?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Aye.
Dr. Rankin? Mr. Shaw?
Aye.
Mrs. Ross?
Aye.
President Wilson?
Aye.
7 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. May I please have a motion and a second to discuss item number 9?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Costick.
Buses. I'm not really sure what's going on, but okay. So we had money to buy brand new buses, right? We got brand new buses, 20, and then I think didn't we buy buses before then? Before we just bought these 20 buses a month or so ago, didn't we just buy buses with ESSER money?
That's the money that was used to,
But didn't we buy buses before this last?
the 21? No.
It was in the
And
budget
Mick?
every 5 years.
No, we had not purchased buses in a long time. Our buses were, over 15, 20 years old. We used to be a long time ago on a rotation every,
5 years.
is it 5 years or every year? We would, Ms. Willis, you want to, but no, that was a
Every
great.
5 years.
For some
Every
reason,
5
I thought
years.
we had bought buses.
What did you say, Ms. Costick?
The year before COVID, I think we skipped that year. I think it had been before we bought the 20. I think it had actually been like 2 years before we bought buses.
Yeah.
And then you may be remembering that we put another set of buses in the COVID grant, but that got denied.
Oh.
That may be what you're
By
remembering.
the state.
Maybe that's it.
And that was
Maybe
like
that's it.
that was an
Sounds
addition,
like
yeah, that was an
yeah.
additional 40 buses. And so they approved the first round, which was
Yes,
20.
yes.
They denied the next round, which was 40.
Okay.
And then we hadn't bought buses for 2 years before that 20.
Yeah. The buses were so old
now
that,
we're buying five
which puts us back on the normal rotation, and it actually will come out of the 22-23 budget.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is get back on that rotation again. Otherwise, if we had to take 20 or 30 buses out of the district budget, it would cripple us.
We
What's our
need
fleet, what's our fleet, the number in our fleet normally?
80 something, about
Yeah.
86 or so, and we used to be 100, over 100 buses, so we have really scaled back. The good thing is we've gotten $100,000 from the EPA to assist with that expenditure, and then the majority of that cost will be reimbursable by the state.
Okay.
And we were in a position where we could not invest in buses, so it's good news for us in terms of safety and transporting our kids safely, because those buses were so old, there was no resale value at all.
And we're also buying used.
Yes.
So it's probably the difference of, 95,000 versus like 60,000. And then we're getting a 20,000
Yep.
reimbursement through that
Right.
rebate on that 60. So
Yeah.
we're paying about a little less than half of what we would for a new bus.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the used are not bad. They're
Yeah, they're
leased.
gently.
They're gently used. They were maybe leased for a year or so they're still kind of brand new. So you're right, it's a very good deal for us.
Just a question. On the new buses that we did purchase, the 21, did they by any chance have Wi-Fi on them?
I believe we need to check. I'll find out for you. Does anyone know if the buses have Wi-Fi? The new ones? I think we got a device that we would. And the cameras, yep.
Okay.
Because remember during COVID also, we were trying to get them to be able to do their
Okay.
homework.
All right.
yeah.
That's
I think,
all I
Ms.
have.
Costick, when you when you're talking about buses, well, most recently we had some special ed buses. That was on about a month or so ago.
Okay, maybe that was
When we
it. I knew
purchased
there was
buses
something about some
through
buses.
special ed, so I know that's why you saying buses.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Ms. Ross.
Any other discussion on item number 9? Seeing none, Madam Secretary?
Mrs. Costick?
Aye.
Mr. Claus?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Aye.
Dr. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. Shaw?
Aye.
Mrs. Ross?
Aye.
President Wilson?
Aye.
7 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. Next, we have our deliberation agenda.
1 second, let me get there. Okay, item number 12, I move that the expulsion to be held in abeyance,
Second.
be approved as presented.
It's been seconded, Madam Secretary?
Mrs. Costick?
Aye.
Mr. Claus?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Aye.
Dr. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. Shaw?
Aye.
Mrs. Ross?
Aye.
President Wilson?
Aye.
7 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 13.
I move that the revocation of expulsion held in abeyance be approved as presented.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Mrs. Costick?
Aye.
Mr. Claus?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Aye.
Dr. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. Shaw?
Aye.
Mrs. Ross?
Aye.
President Wilson?
Aye.
7 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. Presentation and suggestions by board members.
Just one, Mr. President. Next month, the month of May, is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of that.
Absolutely. And I'd just like to make a note as well. So I do have 2 children that have autism, and April is National Autism Awareness Month.
Just a couple things. This past weekend, I had the privilege of attending the middle school speech tournament at Glen Oak. And that was just an amazing experience. Those kids did a great job. I got to talk to kids who were in 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, and just their presentation, their confidence. It was really, really amazing and inspiring. So good job to all those kids who were there for that tournament. And then just kind of piggyback off what also April is. April's also Child Abuse Prevention Month as well. So we know, especially in recent times, we need to have advocates in our community advocating for children who are in care. So just a reminder about that as well.
Thank you. All right. Moving along, we have reports from board committees. Dr. Reinke?
Yep, Parent Teacher Advisory Council Committee. April 13th, which is Wednesday at 7:15 here in the media room. And there is also a Teams link that was sent or will be sent out if you need that.
Thank you. Chase?
Policy will meet next Wednesday, the 20th at 3:30.
Awesome, thank you.
Building and Grounds will meet on Teams on Wednesday, the 13th, at 11 o'clock.
Sounds good. Thank you, Ms. Costick. Procurement Committee? Anything set up?
The procurement committee was, for the week was canceled. We're rescheduling that as we get people interested. Did we get that rescheduled? Procurement committee? I don't think we did yet.
Yeah, it's rescheduled for next week.
For when?
Next week. I think it's next week.
Okay, next week, okay.
I can't remember.
We didn't get
the
enough
date.
participation, so we had to cancel that.
Oh, okay. Do we have a date for next week?
I'd have to look it up.
Oh, okay, okay.
I have a question.
Dr. Reinke?
Mr. Klaus, Policy Committee, is it the 19th or 20th? Because we were invited, but I have it as the 19th on my calendar. Cool, okay.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
Second, yeah.